Have you ever imagined what eating on the go would look like? Well, for the Jews, they had to eat on the go for their freedom. And what did they eat, you might ask? They ate matzah. Matzah is made of just flour and water and is a simple celebration or a simple food that we eat on Passover. Using matzah, we are going to make something that is known as bermelos. And this will also explain the significance of Passover because this is something we eat only during Passover. To begin with, I first have matzah. As I said, matzah is made of just flour and water, and this is what it looks like. It's just simple, plain sheet. And with the matzah, um, we ate it during Passover. And the significance of why we ate it during Passover is because Jewish people are not allowed to eat any grains or wheat during this holiday. So this resorts to just flour and water. I shall see that it is very relevant to the question of why prohibition of chemetz. Prohibition of chemetz is grains in Hebrew, and this explains that we cannot eat it during Passover. Next, using the matzah, I will show how to make bermelos. Bermelos is used with just this matzah, crush it up, and add a little bit of water and an egg, as I have in here. This mixed up all ends up looking to be like this. All you have to do is let the matzah sit with the water, and once it has become soft and easy to form, you can add an egg and whatever toppings you might like. Today I'll be making a salty version, so I add salt, pepper, and cheese. But if I were to be making a sweet version, I would be using cinnamon and sugar. And there's also a lot of other variations that you can use, considering the fact that this kind of has no taste. So it's whatever you want, you can make with it. Next, I will be turning on the pan and making it nice and warm, and I will be adding butter. You can use oil if you want it to get crispy, but the butter adds more flavor, which is what I prefer when making it. So next, once the butter is melted, you're gonna add your mixture into the pan. So here, the mixture that I showed, you're just gonna take a spoonful and kind of make it to be like a patty sort of situation, just like a circular um, round patty. After you let this sit and crisp and toast up, this is what it ends up looking like. This is bermelos. And bermelos is specifically eaten with matzah or used with matzah for Passover because Passover was when the Jews were slaved by Pharaoh, who was in Egypt, and the whole point was that they needed to escape and get away. So the best thing that happened to them, Pharaoh said he no longer wanted them as slaves, and they were able to escape, but they had to do so quickly before he changed his mind. In doing so, they had to make food, and they had no time to make food that included wheat or grain. So they were able to use flour and water, and that's how the matzah came about. Old patterns and family traditions are undermined. Special additions are added to the Passover plate and the Haggadah itself. Haggadah is celebration, so Passover is now known as a celebration. And each family makes their own new tradition on Passover. So, like my family, we have a tradition where you have to hide the matzah because Passover usually ends up around the same time as Easter. So instead of hiding Easter eggs, you hide matzah, and the matzah, whoever finds it, is the winner, and you get whatever the prize may be. In conclusion, I showed you guys how to make bermelos and what matzah is and how we used matzah for Passover. And I also explained the significance of Passover and why it is a holiday. Thank you for listening again.